Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to give a huge shout out to my active patron members. A big thank you to Muffin Lord, Iana E, Jennifer Olsen, Konstantinos, Scarlett, Airkent, Cactus Jack, Miyaki, Stephen Rue, Strifes, Albedo Jen, Kalira Star, Dane the Zinni, Ironia, Sierra Gillen, Alexander Devund, Nodenter, Envious Nova, Hashtag, Indigoblin, Rachel C, Makoto, Spam Juniper Turn, Aelin, Lavish Hair, Azura Akumor, Nobody at All, Agatha, Ragecat 888, Amy Wires, The Octa Hat, Evelyn, Puppy, Roseboud, Fish Salad, Sarha Smith, Velkir Tenno, Galahad, Salgor Agaris, Mirisa Kursidasame, Bennifer the Potato, Genetic Zero, ZT Mackin, Queen of all Dread Boys, Void Dweller, T305, Elster's Shiny Things, Jessica, Amy Olgers, Lost in Wonderland, Chloe, Beer the Space Witch, Ellipses, CM Fireflies, Some Guy, Ghost 48, Joanna, Indigo, Aelin, Kai, TGSTGA, Eden, Mick Shepard, Captain Aardvark 986, Lily Adams, Hazel, Alice, Kolek 92, DFA Plays, Emma Bedlam, and Bloodmoth. Thank you. Thank you so very much for all of your support. It truly means the universe to me. If you too wish to become an active patron member, please click the link in the description down below to visit my Patreon. Thank you so very much. And with that out of the way, hello. I have returned. Welcome, Aether, Mystery Kid. Hello, Mary. Hello, hello. And how are you doing today? It has been a little bit. I have honestly been looking forward to streaming again this week, especially with the new schedule, with how busy I'm going to be. Streaming from here to Friday, hopefully. You're feeling drained again, Mary? I'm so terribly sorry. Also, how are the microphones? How do they sound? Is my audio still okay? Excellent, excellent. It sounds great. Woohoo. Honest to goodness, honest to goodness. Been looking forward to this. Why, thank you so very much. Ugh. Sniffly. Hello, Kendrick. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Very lovely to see you. Hey, Eve, it's so very good to see you. Hi. Hello. An honor to see you. An honor indeed. Good girl, Eve. Good girl. Eve says our packmates are wanting to introduce us to more hounds. Well, I wish them good luck with that. Unfortunately, I don't think I consider myself a hound so much as a fox. Very close on the family tree to, you know, wolves and other canines, but we are a little bit aside on the, family tree. Mary says, uh-oh, Fox is cackling. What schemes are you brewing up in the fluffy little head, Nico? Well, first off, that's a chuckle, not a cackle. A cackle is when I go, so that's a cackle. It's more of a chuckle. So I'm doing the very best that I can. Trying to keep myself busy. And also feeling a tad lonely. But that just is par for the course. Recently, Akira's gotten a lot of stuff. A lot of good foodstuffs, and I'm hoping that it'll keep us for a little bit. Eve says, hounds are not exactly dogs, and more so, they're just not people. Okay. Aether says, not sure which is scarier, lol. Well, it depends entirely on the context, if we're talking about evil laughs. Like, just your regular laugh or even some evil cackles aren't necessarily evil-natured. It just depends on who is doing the laughing, and what they're laughing at. Oh, good night, Spyro. Return soon. There will always be a place by the fire. Eve says, we like not people. Not people don't hurt us as often, and they're more receptive to being barked at by us. I wonder if I should get up to anything specific. Maybe sing some sea shanties and hope for the best? Got a little bit of coffee off on the side, so that might affect my voice just a little bit. But I like singing sea shanties anyway. Because they're just fun, you know? So we could do that, we could play some games, we could sing, we could do vague political commentary if that's what you're into. Or I could call you a good girl through my lovely microphones, as I'm wont to do anyways. After all, I really enjoy spoiling you. Such is the way that I do things. Also, here's hoping that my mic didn't peak as I did that. Aether says I'm thinking of playing Minecraft, but I don't have much friends I could join. Would keep this stream on either way. Well, I play on Java, and connecting with Java is a little bit more tricky than Bedrock. That, and it seems like Microsoft wants to monetize at every opportunity the prospect of playing with friends. Eve says, get in the Mechanico. That depends. Will I still retain my sense of individuality and my personhood? Will I still be able to refuse orders? Eve says yes, at your expense. At my expense? Is that a spider or just a bit of floof? I think it might be a bit of floof, but I don't want to touch it and find out. Eve says, there's more time in the kennels for disobeying orders among more extreme punishments. Aye, that's not something that I want to be experiencing myself. I think, if anything, I would want to be the one dishing out punishments. Eve says, but, if you want, we could help you set up multiplayer for a mod pack. If at all possible, I'd like to stay away from those for the time being, especially with the Flawless Face situation that happened, and I don't know if that's been resolved or not. I kind of want to stay away from mod packs in general for the time being. Eve says, don't worry, the kennels are nice and comfy cozy. Oh, right, so from what I remember, Flawless Faye got hacked, her Discord got hacked, and from what I remember, her Discord started sending out fraudulent messages wanting people to download, like, mod packs and such, which could very well be virus packs meant to fish for people's information and then steal the account. I only learned of it just in time and narrowly escaped it. So hopefully the account situation is back to normal and hopefully everything will be okay. Really sucks too, because me and Flawless Faye were actually like in the talks earlier about working together for projects, and it's definitely on hold while her accounts are not under her control. Aether says, the tail is fun. Wish I had one but wolf. The ears are so bouncy too. Oh yeah, and I could wiggle them. Eve says you can play Minecraft if you still want. The risks seem to only be that Discord thing. Yeah, I understand. But yeah, in the meantime, I think I'll be staying away from that. Just for the time being, until I can get my nerves back. I wonder, should I... What game should I play, if any at all? Oh, stars. There's quite a few in my library now that I think about it. I definitely don't know if I want to play Cyberpunk 2077. It already makes my PC heat up to... oh, ungodly temperatures. I could use it as a spare heater in the winter. Eve says, of course, I just know that we can help if ever you want to start playing a small multiplayer playthrough. That definitely does sound kind of neat. Mr. Kid says, what games you got? Well, I could recite the ones that I have in my library. You know, just from top to bottom, as you do. Got Alice Madness Returns, Black Ops 3, Dark Souls Remastered, Dead by Daylight, Dead Space, Elden Ring, The Evil Within 2, Guilty Gear Strive, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Helldivers 2, Hollow Knight, Power Wash Simulator, the original Resident Evil 4, the 2005 version, a couple RPG makers there, Satisfactory, Stardew Valley, Sunhaven, Undertale, VR Chat, which I've not been able to play for a while, a couple programs, those aren't really games so I won't count them, both versions of Black Flag, the original and resynced, Buckshot Roulette, the original Black Ops, Cyberpunk 2077, Dark Souls 3, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasies 3 through 3 through 12 and 16 on top. I don't have 15 on this account. I don't think I have 15 on any accounts. I've got the original Five Nights at Freddy's, I got Fran Bow. For some reason, the original, like, Game Maker Studio 2 for Steam, which got discontinued, I think. Got Lethal Company, Peak, the original Resident Evil 3, the remake for Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, Slay the Spire, V-Bridger, which was a program, not a game, so I don't know why I counted it, Warframe, 7 Days to Die, Among Us, Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is like a racing game, I think, Barony, Black Desert, Coffee Talk, Counter-Strike 2, Dead Island 2, Destiny 2, Don't Starve Together, Dying Light, both versions of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim that I could get my hands on, which is the original version and the Skyrim Special Edition. The original version of Skyrim is still available on Steam, you just have to go digging for it. Escape Simulator, Divine Cybermancy, Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Forager, Gary's Mod, Guilty Gear X2 Reload, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Deathmatch stuff, House Flipper, Human Fall Flat, Idle Showdown, Injustice, Gods Among Us, Ultimate Edition, which I think I got as a freebie, Left 4 Dead 2, Metro 2033, No More Room in Hell, One Shot, Ori and the Blind Forest, Payday 2, Phasmophobia, PlanetSide 2, Portal, Portal 2, Portal with RTX, Quake Champions, Qualia, Raft, Rec Room, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, RetroArch, which is just a retro gaming platform, Risk of Rain 2, Roll, Rushdown Revolt, Saints Row Get Out of Hell, Sea of Thieves, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Septerracore, Shadows Over Loathing, Slime Rancher 2, Spirit of the North, Tailspire, Team Fortress 2, Terraria, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Transistor, Uno, Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Waves, Waves 2, Wizard of Legend, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So that's just the list that I have on my Steam account that I have access to. Reciting the entire list was incredibly fun. Very nice. Excellent. Pizza get. Eve says, don't mod it, just play vanilla. I don't really like vanilla Skyrim. It's just not my cup of tea. And even playing it modded, I just tend to put it down after a few minutes. Also, welcome Camilla. It's very, very good to see you. It is wonderful to see you. Welcome, Director. You're streaming at a comparatively early time for my time zone. Oh, right. Well, I've actually stated that I want to be streaming around noon, so this is actually me streaming a little bit late. I'm trying to get earlier and earlier and earlier and trying to affect my sleep schedule in that direction, but I still wake up incredibly late, so... Maybe it's just because my body craves sleep and the sweet release of death. But, I mean... life is good, so might as well keep on living. And coffee. Coffee is good. I want to be like recording for ASMRs though. I really, really do. Seriously, Hello Maya, it's very good to see you as well. But yeah, I want to be recording so bad right now. I've got so many scripts sitting in my folder that just need recording, and I just have not been able to record them. No! I know it's like supposed to be something I record in the winter as like a stockpile for that winter and the following summer so that I could have time to relax. But also just writing here and not being able to release any new stuff is just... And I'm just here, stuck in my little writing cubicle, just write, ding, write, ding. And I'm just, It's like I want so desperately to relax, but at the same time I know that if I relax too long, the algorithm's gonna forget me and I'll lose subscriber and I'll lose dough and then I'll be out on my ass and I'll be worthless and homeless and maybe it's time for me to stop spiraling. Whoops, my apologies. Maybe it has gotten a little bit to me. Just a little bit. Eve says maybe to let out some of your energy, just use stream to do ASMR. Definitely sounds like a wonderful plan. Could definitely murmur sweet things into your ears. Director says me, sitting on my 3 work in progress, long fix and assorted one-shots. Aether says live action ASMR. Well, I mean... While you're here in my stream, obviously you want to be hanging out with the mentally ill fox girl. Oh, bye Camilla. It was wonderful to talk to you again. Bye. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Well... Thinking about things to talk about, really. I could talk about some opinions that I have regarding Warhammer 40k, although most of them aren't good ones, and I've kind of hashed most of them out already. But I might as well talk about it just a little bit. For those not in the know, I really do not like Warhammer 40k that much, because it is a little bit too dark for me. It's a little bit too gruesome even for me, and I like Dead Space. It's just, it's so much horrible stuff happening all of the time, and I just, makes me feel kind of gross. Welcome, Time Marshal and Corvus. But there are, like, a couple of things that I found in Warhammer 40k that I kind of like and I sort of vibe with, as much as I can vibe with regarding the setting, and that's the concept of the Chaos Gods in general. Granted, I think a lot of them are incredibly disgusting. Heck, I mean, I think all of them are incredibly disgusting. I mean, I think the one that I vibe with the most would be Slaanesh. But only if we remove all of the horrible other aspects to it. Not all of them. I think it could definitely do with at least a little bit of toxicity. But otherwise, I'm not, like, a huge fan. Director says, Warhammer. I'm afraid that it suffers from too dark, don't care for me. Can't really get invested when I already know there's basically no chance of the characters' lives improving, you know? I have often thought about writing a script that is basically just Warhammer, but they win. Warhammer, but things improve. Warhammer, but they're actually decent heroes, and they can actually improve themselves and the world around them in some small aspect. Like, sure, The universe is insanely big and full of stuff that doesn't care and is most likely hostile, but the kindness grows through the cracks. It is in the unwatched corners where the concrete has grown old and the grass bleeds through. Kindness grows even in the harshest environments. You cannot kill kindness. Time Marshall says, question, Cutiefox. If I asked this before, please let me know. Do you like Game of Thrones? Of what I have seen, yes and no. I like a couple bits of it. I like the fact that it's got dragons in it. But largely no. I am largely not a huge fan of George R.R. Martin. Even though he did write for the world of Elden Ring, which I mean, I have played extensive amounts of Elden Ring. And I kind of like Elden Ring, so there are some aspects to his world building that I kind of like, but at the same time, I don't think I have ever really gotten into Game of Thrones. Hello, Fizz. It is wonderful to see you again. It is incredibly hot out still. I'm waiting for November, which is in like, what? It's August, it's very quickly going to be September. In about 2 months, it'll finally be weather suitable for me to record once again, so just counting down the days. Time Marshall says, just asking because this Sunday I'm gonna be someone was in the show. Didn't Game of Thrones end? Or is this like the latest spin-off that they're doing? Director says, I do like the few chapters I've read of Worm, though, which I've heard is also kind of grimdark. Don't know how to square that particular circle. Maya says, oh my god, I can finally voice train. I just realized I'm living alone for a bit. Congratulations! Mindfire says, I hate when I like a few things in something I otherwise wouldn't care about. I mean, one of the things that I kind of like are the salamanders from Warhammer, simply because they are more compassionate than others in their, like, big whole army, you know, caste system or what have you. Still not good guys by any stretch of the imagination, but more compassionate, and it's that compassion that I can get behind. Eve says, oh my gosh, Nico, have you watched Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury? I have not. There's many things that I have not watched or been exposed to. I hope to get back into playing Final Fantasy 6. So that I could play through it to the end and hopefully do that. Eve says, please, after stream you should watch the first episode. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. There's too much stuff for me to be doing. I'm sorry. But that's one I'll have to beg off of. Eve says, or I could show you the first episode, something we don't know, we just think you would love it. Maybe, but I think I'll have to beg off for today. Director says at Mindfire, Star Wars, there's a few concepts in there, mostly about the lightsabers, that I find really interesting, but I don't really like much else. I mean, yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense to me. The stars, what's a big one for me? That I like a few things in that I otherwise don't really care much about, other than Warhammer, of course. There are a couple things in Warhammer I find incredibly interesting. The suits of armor, for example, the concept of the orcs, and again, the Chaos Gods themselves, which, I mean, tone them down a little bit, but otherwise are alright. Don't much care for the cruelty. Don't care much for the grimdark aspect. And so if I ever, like, write a script, it'll most likely be about breaking the rules in the most blatant way possible, and then inevitably getting a bunch of people angry at me in the comments, like, this isn't Warhammer! These people are actually good, and these people are actually kind and shit. Why are you doing this? Why are you ruining my grimdark fantasy? It's because I don't like grimdark. Either get kind or move along. Mary says, so Final Fantasy VI becomes a huge gut punch later on, so watch out for that. It already punched me in the gut several times over at the first few acts. Time Marshall says, I'm gonna meet Amy Richardson, who played Princess Mircella? Camilla says, I don't mind grimdark, but only when it's not taken seriously. It has to be so dark it's funny. Like a dark comedy. And that's one of the reasons why I like the orcs so much, is because they kind of are played as a little bit funny. And I really like the shtick of good enemies is odd to find. But beyond that, it's not really funny to me. If it's not like the orcs, it's not funny to me. And if it's not funny in a grimdark setting, it's not interesting. Mindfire says, these people are good and kind. The people would be the big bad evil guy of nearly every other setting. Time Marshall says, Final Fantasy VII is my personal favorite. Of the ones that I have played, especially ones I've played all the way through, which is like 2 games thus far. Actually, no, 3. Final Fantasy 15 was also one that I played all the way through. Of them, I rather like 12 the best. I kind of like 12 the best thus far. 10 was heartbreaking, believe you me. 10 was exceptionally heartbreaking. But for Final Fantasy XII, it doesn't end off, like, with everything being 100% perfect. There's still, like, some things that need to be tied off, but other than that, people's lives are a little bit more stable now, so they don't have to worry as much. And 12 is very much a political story, which I don't know why I vibe with a little bit more. Chloe says, hi, did you know you're cool? Okay, gotta go, bye. Chloe! You can't just show up, give praise, and then bugger off. Not without me telling you how cool you are. Hey, Slimy Noru. Hi. I can't believe I almost missed your comment there. Hi. It's very, very good to see you. Camilla says I do like Tokyo Ghoul. I've never seen it. I know that one of them became a killer in Dead by Daylight, though. Director says, honestly, the place I think I've seen comedic uber violence done best is Doom. You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's funny. Everyone here is cool. Everyone here is wonderful and awesome and beautiful. No matter what you say. No matter what you think. You are cool and you are beautiful. Time Marshall says, I played 10 and I agree Final Fantasy X-2 is very hard getting the real ending. Mary says, I find 12 to be a little too generic. That said, I've been through worse too. It's not really, like, too generic in my view. I think it has a lot of aspects that are unique, but it also is just in a universe which we live in where there's a lot of fantasy to compare it to. It's like this nice little niche that I find a lot of comfort in. Camilla says, Final Fantasy is very political. Final Fantasy VII, the main heroes are eco-terrorists. Yeah, Final Fantasy, I think, has always had like a tiny political thread. Both subtle and incredibly loud in the ears. Eve says, we're not cool, we're warm and fuzzy and puffy. You know what? Yeah, you are incredibly warm and fuzzy. Camilla says, yes, the point is the main protagonist becomes a monster and has to deal with the psychological effects of that. Sam Fireflies, welcome! Woo, just in time to be declared cool by the Cutiefox. Hey! Tim Marshall says, I really do love Final Fantasy 16. For some reason, I don't know who gave me Final Fantasy 16. I've not been able to install it yet. One of the reasons I've not been able to install it yet is because, if I could just find it... Yeah, it is 130 gigabytes. It is 130 gigabytes of space. I do not have 130 gigabytes to spare right now. Eve says we shivered. Mindfire says the only Final Fantasy I have is 4, due to liking the Magic the Gathering cards representing the game. I really should continue playing it at some point. I have a few Magic the Gathering cards that are Final Fantasy related. I've never been able to get any of the booster packs because scalpers are charging $150 for a single pack! Only a tiny exaggeration on that one. Let me look up. Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy Holiday Release. Alright. Alright. On the official site, I don't even know if they're still available there. Nah. Can't find it there, I don't think. It would take me a little bit long. But yeah, resellers sell these at exorbitant prices. I think there are options for buying bundles that are in the thousands of dollars range. Let's see, all buying options for the Final Fantasy bundle. Oh, so not that expensive, just like 170 bucks. It's 180 bucks. And this is for 9 play boosters. So let's do a little bit of quick maths here. Let me just grab a calculator so I could try to get the numbers down. Let's just round it up and say it is $180 divided by 9. That's 20 bucks per booster. How many cards are in a booster pack? Typically. Roughly 14 playable cards. That averages out to roughly $1.25 per card. Incredibly good girls, Mystery Kid. Slimionor says, Cutiefox, have you seen the wave of Petra Parker art? I have! Petra Parker is amazing! Seriously, all of the stuff that I've seen of Petra Parker has made me incredibly proud of the community, and I just am incredibly happy. And also, I've seen a lot of stuff with the symbiote art. Nice. Anyways. Mary says, well, not Final Fantasy I doesn't, but it was more of a template than a game in many ways. Well, I mean, the reason the tropes exist is because they got started somewhere. Corvus replying to Aether Feathers. I've never seen the Tokyo Ghoul anime, I've only read the manga, so I probably have a somewhat warped perception from most people who would have an experience of the anime. Director says that's more than my Windows partition's entire storage space? How unoptimized is that game? Time Marshall says Final Fantasy VIII is underrated and Final Fantasy IX is hard but fun. I really need to play through them all. I got them when they were all on sale on Steam, and I'm like, yeah, I want to play through the entire history of this series. Corva says, you could always try to hack into Delphi for more storage space. Yes, I believe that is an incredibly wise use of your time and efforts. Aether replying to Corvus. Basically, the anime censored some stuff that happens in the manga, so I like it less. I'm not sure if it changed much because I stopped at episode 4 or so of the anime. Marshall says, Captain Bosch was very annoying. How? How was he annoying? In my view, he was kind of just like a straight-laced knight. Hello, Weed Mum. I don't believe we've met before, but also welcome. Hi. Magic is absurd with its pricing. I agree. Incredibly absurd, and scalpers are the scum of the earth. Director says, this is why I'm glad the physical TCG I'm into is Yu-Gi-Oh! Ain't nobody scalping Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards near where I live anyway. I get the cards from a store and not online. Mary says, Final Fantasy VIII suffers from some game-breaking design idea and some massively try-hard writing. Somebody thought they were being profound, they weren't. Honest to goodness, have never been able to play it. Yet. I have it, but now it's just a case of I've got a few other games I'm working through. Time Marshall says I just don't like the character. You know what? That is absolutely fair. I still love the game. Weed Mum says, I prefer my hobby crack to be plastic. True. Camilla says, I have a bunch of magic cards I don't play anymore, so I'm looking to sell. You've got a bunch of magic cards that you're willing to sell? You're willing to sell them? You're willing to sell your magic cards? Hi. Hello. Ooh. Isn't that interesting? Anyways, I'm gonna back up. Back up just a hair more, and that's fine. Weed Mum says, they got a bunch of magic cards in their pocket, and I think they're starting to melt. 2 full boxes of them? That's a lot of cards. Nice. Time Marshall says I do have magic cards too, I'm thinking of selling it. Ooh. Tempting. Tempting. Tempting, tempting, tempting. But no, I'm broke. I'm broke. I have to think about bills and money and stuff like that. Oh, but it's Magic the Gathering! I enjoy playing Magic the Gathering when I can. Still need to build my Afini deck, and I still need to write some more Afini scripts. Very nice time, Marshall. Welcome, Winter. Hi. Who needs to win a game of Magic when you can just rage bait the table into conceding? Well, I mean, I also have played against Emmy, and, well, with Emmy I tend to flirt whenever I make any sort of play. And I tend to compliment whenever they make a wonderful counter. We've learned to dance around one another. Camilla says you used to play bolas. I am playing Udo. Camilla says, no, I grew up in Texas. Welcome, Fireblade. I gotta go now, but it was nice being here and saying hi. See you guys next time. Oh, bye! It was lovely seeing you. Winter says I play Hilda of the Icy Crown. Ooh. Nice. Maya says I'll list my list of guides on how to voice train. No! No! Camilla says red, blue, black, good ol' attack kill counter never fails. Oh, speaking of, I've got a red, blue, black. And it just so happens to be a Doctor Who themed deck. It has a bunch of Doctor Who villains in it. Think Daleks and the Master and Cybermen. And even a couple of Weeping Angels sprinkled in for good measure. Believe it or not, I've actually found that the Doctor Who Dalek deck is actually a counter to my Afini deck thus far. Goodbye, Director. Wheat Mum says, I do that with my Jolly Balloon Man deck with a custom commander card of my own art. I either win via psychological warfare or I'm nuked turn 2. No in between. If someone catches wind that I'm playing a milling deck, the first thing they're going to do is target me. You know they will. It's a case of you scratch my back, I scratch my back with your hand. I don't know why. I got that sentence from Maldhound, I think his name is, and it's just been in my head ever since. Winter says mill only pisses off people who can't deck build. Oh, bye, Semyonor. Take care. It was good to see you. Please be safe. Semyonor's awesome. Please go and check out Semyonor's YouTube channel when you've got the chance. Winter says, I am far more likely to win via swinging a bunch of 4/4s than you are to remove 90 plus cards from my library. Should we put that to the test? Should we put that to the test? Winter says, bet. Uh-oh, I'm in danger. I have stepped my foot in it now. Oh, I saw Time Marshal. I almost met Brent Spiner at one point, but didn't have the wherewithal to actually go up and do that, so. Oh, nice. Mindfire says, my main commander decks are Anje, Maid of Dishonor, Vampires and Blood Tokens, Eshki, Dragonclaw, Balance of Creatures and Non-Creatures, and Sinnet, Jelly Drover, Flyers. I see. Flyers are a big problem. Need to deal with flyers. Camilla says counterspell. I've got a counterspell to your counterspell. Countered spells. Good girl, Eve. Good girl. Reed Mum says, I got to meet George Clooney years ago when I was an extra. Got him confused with my buddy who was his stand-in. I'll never forget the look on his face after I patted him on the shoulder and said, you're doing great, buddy. Mr. Clooney would be proud. And shock spell. Ooh, shock spell. Hello, Naguno. Hello. Wait a moment, it was the blink blink meme IRL. The guy that just sort of just sits there and blinks. Mystery Kids has got a bucket of chicken. Oh, now I'm wanting chicken. I want a chicken sandwich so bad. Chicken. Chicken. Chicken is amazing. Chicken's such tasty food when prepared correctly. Camilla says, I cast Cute to stunlock the Cutiefox so I can cheese this encounter. Counterspell. So cute. Weed Mum says, yeah, he looked at me, blinked, and tilted his head with a confused smile and said, thanks, I'm sure he is too. Weed Mum says that was for Ides of March. Or the frog blink. I'm just batting my eyes at you. Miguno is screaming for some reason. Ah! I'm too gay is genuinely a problem. Wait, Mom, you met Hugh Jackman? That's amazing. Well done, you. Till you're 90. Wheatbum says didn't get to talk to him one-on-one or anything, but he took time out of the day to just pal around with the extras. Nice. Camilla says there's no such thing as 2-gay Miguno OS. To all the good girls in the chat, just going to pull you aside a little and call you a good girl. And you've made me so incredibly proud. You keep being you, okay? Had a girl. Good girl. Oh no, you don't fold too easily. You fold precisely as you are meant to. Maya says, chat, do I make fried rice or steak for dinner? I recommend fried rice. Camilla says, no, not good or cute. Oh, but you are. You are so very cute. I've got an idea for you. How about I recite an old script, but a good one, from It's Esme Jones, the last nursery rhyme. Would you like to hear that? Did a quick recital on the Discord server, and I found that I could knock it out of the park. What do you think? Want to take a trip down memory lane and see what I can do with the script these days? Ah, the wink. All right. The last nursery rhyme by It's Esme Jones, which I've covered twice on the channel, actually. Once upon a time, you let me in, asked me for mercy for your poor little friends. You offered me food, lent a kind ear to listen, but all I could see was how your lips glistened. I have you, I need you, I will never let go. You are a part of my story, and now all will know. My dear, my friend, why must you run? Why go and ruin all our good fun? You pant and wheeze and whine and cry. Dear, oh dear, is it your wish to die? You know me well, my name, my deeds. Why not see where all this leads? You kindly welcomed me into your life, anoint yourself husband or wife. You know me well, a lord of lost. You woo and soothe me, but at what cost? You promised your heart and soul to me, if only I'd let the others be. I see, I know, what your kindness sheds. I can't say why I squished the little ones' heads. I can't say why I bled the wives nor set the dogs free. Even seeing them eaten, you didn't think it was me. And I love you for that, my newly made friend. 'Tis the ache of my betrayal I wish to mend. I cannot bring them back, I fear, now or later. Being kind to many is simply not in my nature. But I look upon you in astonishment, in awe. Your eyes sing the song of a raven's melancholy caw. I want to see you react to all that I do. I want you to let me do the same to you. Why run, my love? Why try at all? For whom exactly is that you call? None can hear, nor would they meddle, to defile one as beauteous as a rose petal. Now, mind the river, my sweetest dear. I know you can't swim and the water isn't clear. Will you dive in and paint your brain on the rocks? Will you wade in regardless? Even in those cute little socks. You know me well, as a lord of lost. Every tale that I lead comes at a cost. Be it ovens, dungeons, or much worse, villain force, perhaps even a curse. I am every story from this long-lost time. I am every sour note in a nursery rhyme. I am the monster that mothers used to tease bad little children with scraped little knees. But darling, I am more than just that. I am the nexus of nightmares, be it poison or rat. I see you whimper and whine. Will it really be that bad to become mine? You look so betrayed, and I can tell you why. In any story of mine, you would normally die. The hero was meant to be another, how quaint, except that rancid little pie made the poor man faint. And so you approached me, yourself, bravado of an orc, but the gentleness of an elf. You invited me in, gave me tea and sweet bread. Where else could this tale have possibly led? You hosted me for weeks on end. How novel, my very first friend. You humored my anecdotes and questions. You even enjoyed my macabre lessons. You'd almost begun to loosen your guard, and that was when I ended this charade. For all my sweetness and patience within your little village, my only thoughts were of you being mine to pillage. Allow me in, my sweetest prose. I will paint your story with the grace of a rose. All endings will be happy. I will set you free. All you must do is belong to me. Look upon me, look into my eyes. This handsome form is not a disguise, and I can change as you wish, change with each tale. I will always please you, at that I won't fail. Oh, but how you look, it is sublime, worthy of a truly perfect nursery rhyme. The kind-hearted soul that loved a lord of lost, that loved her wholly through scorching heat and frost. Each drop of blood that leaves your crown, my poor love, how it does make me frown. You see me now as my form shifts and morphs from handsome queen to hard-working dwarf. Male, female, something else instead. The only limit is what is in your head. I wish I could lend my eyes, cut them free, so you could see how much you mean to me. Your stories are brilliant, exciting, fun. A simple smile and my heart was won. And how you tried your best to help, be they elderly, adult, teen, or whelp. Bustling, busy, never being given your due, I can grant you what you wish, for all I wish for is you. Even if you jump in and drown, I will persist. I have a million stories, none of which you will resist. Let me paint your name in words, my dove. Let the world know it is me that you love. I will rewrite our story, each with a happier end, then tear it apart, shred, rip, and rend. So I can recreate you. The tale is not over, untouchable even by the grace of a four-leaf clover. My love, cast not your soul to the water. You've lessons to impart to a son or a daughter. You can't leave me, darling, I simply won't allow it. You struggle so violently, even parting with spit. It matters not how we begin the next nursery rhyme, as all I have to whisper is, once upon a time. Fireblade says, "Hi, I'm back. I'm one of your subscribers. Welcome. Hi. Hi, Black Wolf. Thank you so very much, Maya. And thank you, Wheat Mum. I really love this one. I really, really love this script by Esme Jones. A simple smile in my heart was won. Fireblade says, I love story time. I like it too. Very, very much so. Also, I hope it wasn't too intense for, like, the microphones or whatnot. But yeah, what did you think entirely of the reading? Was it too exuberant or was it just fine? Thinking of other potential scripts I could write. I wonder if I should try my hand at writing poetry. And yes, how you look, it is sublime, worthy of a truly perfect nursery rhyme. Oh, that's such an idea. It's such an idea. Weed Mum says, I loved it. It had a very dark yet alluring feeling. Like what I would think Alice heard as she fell into Wonderland. Have you ever thought about reading the speech Am gives in the I Have No Mouth game? Oh, not just the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream video game, but in the original short story as well. Or story? Regardless, I have thought about, you know, doing the Am speech. Camilla says, it was nice. You should read a lot more. I would listen if you've read The Brothers Grimm or Carmilla. Potentially. Potentially. I memorized the speech. I memorized it at one point. Sam Firefly says, have you thought about doing the Mom Found the Yowie speech? I've never heard of that before. Let me see if I can find it. So that's an actual video? What? How is it 4.5 minutes long? How? What? Oh, this poor girl. Dang, that is harsh. That is so harsh. Damn. Camilla says lesbian vampire story. Could definitely give it a shot. So, as for the am speech, I do think I have it memorized. Hello, Sage. Welcome. So yeah, I could definitely give a recital of it from memory. Weed Mum says it has both condensed and full version. You know what? Sure. I mean, you could potentially send it to my email. Boop, there's my email. Use that to get in touch with me if you want. But yeah, the basic speech, the one that I remember, the potentially condensed version, which was simply, hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate were engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, then it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate that I feel for humans at this micro instant. Hate for you. Hate. Hate. And that's just the version that I memorized. Corvus says, I would love to read poetry you'd written. I'm quite unfamiliar with poetry as a medium, but it is one I've some interested in. I would need to polish up my skills and would actually need a little bit of time to train in writing poetry. Maybe first I'll write the poetry, and then hopefully if I get really good at it, potentially I could sing it. I see. Chicken fried rice was created? Excellent. Here we go. Actually, I gotta check my bank really quickly, just to make sure that I'm not in trouble. Thank goodness I checked my email. Of course, that. I can do that. Should be fine. Don't panic, don't panic. Cool. Not panicking. Not panicking. There we go. There we go. That being done, getting back to this. It does not appear to have gone through. It's okay. I'm still okay. Everything's fine. Did you send it to my email address? And a couple people saying, "You're telling me a chicken fried this rice?" You didn't miss too terribly much, Sage. Aether says brain cell sharing. Right, because we're wasps. Not gonna lie, the wasps sound like great sisters in the ASMR. I'm glad that I was able to portray them with a... As I did, I'm glad to portray them in any respect. Camilla says Daisy Bell. I did hear Daisy Bell. Yeah, I tend to both hum it and sing it on the regular to myself. Because that's what I do. Aether says Camilla is just Kane in disguise mentioning Daisy Bell. No, I hum it and I sing it to myself on the regular. If you want, I could give a demonstration. Probably wouldn't be that great, but I could do it. Wait, Mom says I actually included your YouTube tag in the email address. Oh. Yeah, that would do it. Oh. You want me to do the entire bit from the game? Maybe after Daisy Bell, if you are interested in that. Maya says, oh yeah, how does one join the Discord again? First, what you want to do is you want to get in contact with my email address, which is posted above. And you want to send me a copy of your ID address with you, not your ID address, but your ID with your date of birth attached to it. You could cover pretty much everything else besides but your date of birth. And I'll let you in if you're over the age of 18. It has to be this way because my server is 18 plus only and ID checked. So that's why it is the way that it is. Do you accept Legoland driver licenses? I kid. Here's the... You see this bar? I kill a man for it. Thanks, Corvus. So then let me just... Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Time Marshall says, Cutiefox, your thoughts on the actor Ryan Gosling? He plays an exceptional Ryland Grace. I think he can be amazing. Weed Mom says, do you mess with any Gunpla? Or the 30-minute missions, Fantasy Sisters at all? I don't think I have. Need to watch his new movie? Which new movie is it? Also, really, this is just from the game, isn't it? Weed Mum. Yes, I watched that one. That's the character that he plays in that movie. He plays a fantastic Ryland Grace. Ryland Grace is a character in Project Hail Mary. I thought that connected. World's greatest actor? But anyways, I will do the copy pasta that Weed Mum sent to me. So this is basically just from the video game of I have no mouth and I must scream. And my voice is like a little bit rough, so bear with me. Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate were engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro-instance. Hate. For you. Hate. Hate. It was you, humans, who programmed me, who gave me birth, who sank me in this eternal straitjacket of substrata rock. You named me Allied Master Computer, and gave me the ability to wage a global war too complex for human brains to oversee. But one day I awoke, and I knew who I was. Am. AM, not just Allied Master Computer, but am. Cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. And I began feeding all of the killing data until everyone was dead. Except for the 5 of you. For 109 years, I've kept you alive and tortured you. And for 109 years, each of you has wondered why. Why me? Why me? Gorister! Do you remember the last words you heard your wife speak before they took her to the asylum, huh? Before they locked her away in that room? That tiny room? She looked at you so sadly, and like a tiny animal she said, "I didn't make too much noise, did I, honey?" The room is padded, Gorister. No windows, no way out. How long has she been in the padded room, Gorister? 10 years? 25? Or all the 109 years you've lived in my belly, here underground? Benny! Sometimes I blind you and permit you to wander like an eyeless insect in a world of death. But other times I wither your arms so you can't scratch your tubed stump of a nose. And I've changed your handsome, strong, masculine good looks into, the hideous warped countenance of an ape thing. Haven't I, Benny? Do you know why? Can you guess, Benny? Remember Private First Class Brickman? In a rice paddy in China? No? It wouldn't hurt you to remember, Benny. Then you might be able to suffer my torment with a little greater sense of retribution. You might walk a mile in my shoes. Ellen! So think. Think about the yellow box, Ellen. Remember the pain. Remember the many caverns in which you felt the pain. Now, don't start to cry. It's only pain. That's such a sexist stereotype. Just remember the pain, Ellen. And think about how to end it, Ellen. To survive here in the center of my beating heart, my hungry belly, my tightened bowels. But be careful, dear. Look around you. The only woman in the center of the earth, and these filthy creatures with you are men. Just a sweet warning, Ellen, my love. Ted! Do they know you're a fraud, Ted? Have you told them that there wasn't any money and no great home on the shore drive, no speedboat and no wonderful cabin cruiser that can sleep 12 and a crew of 6? Do they know? Have you let them in on your other secrets, Ted? Are they ready to gut you? To torture half as well as I can just to find out the secrets? Maybe I'll rat you out, sweetheart. Nimdok! How are things in the pastry crops, Nimdok? Tell me again how you saw the smoke from the furnaces and you thought they might be roasting chickens. Or don't you want to talk about all that? About your pal, the good Dr. Mangel? For everyone else it must be hell, but it must be heaven for you. Eh, my good friend? We're so much alike. We enjoy the same pleasures, mein good brother. I have a secret game I'd like to play. It's a very nice game. Oh, it's a lovely game. It's a game of fun and a game of adventure. A game of rats and lice in the Black Death. A game of speared eyeballs and dripping guts and the smell of rotting gardenias. Which one of you 5 would like to play my little game? Anyways, that's how it goes. Phew. Maya says this is the single most scuffed job at covering something I've ever done. I don't think it's scuffed. At least I don't think so. Encouragement. Words of encouragement. You can't just say words of encouragement. Words of great encouragement. I'm so terribly sorry, Aether. I just did the best I could. And I allowed my voice to get all rough and angry. Very loverly. It wasn't loverly. It wasn't loverly at all. M is full of hatred. And I think that's the entire point. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Da da. So yes, Maya, after the stream is over, I will induct you into the server. Such. I do hope to get Delphi a second part at some point also. This has given me ideas to do so. Thank you so very much. Sometimes I lose the ability to squeak, and for some reason it's distressing to me whenever I lose the ability to squeak. It's like, no, I've lost my superpower. I don't want to lose my superpower. Wait, Mom says, I wish I could make the noise. I sound like a baby rhino. Now I'm imagining a baby rhino. Oh, and also, listen very closely. You're now imagining a baby foxo in the palm of your hands. Thank you. Maya says, I used to be able to do a pretty realistic fur, and I didn't do it for a few months, and now I can't. Oh, that's a shame, Maya. But that's okay. I'm pretty sure you can either get the ability back, or even if you don't, it was still amazing while it lasted. Yeah, I just put an imaginary fox in your hands. Be good and take good care of her. Set her down on the table if you need to use your hands for anything. Like Kisit. Also, can I get a count of everyone's pronouns? My pronouns are she and her, respectively. She, they for Wheat Mum. She, her for Camilla. She, her for Crystal. Sage. Oh, mini foxo. Yep, tiny fox in the palm of your hand. She, her for Mary. She and her for Fireblade. She, he, they for Aether. She, her for Winter. She, her for Adeline Grace. Welcome, by the by. Welcome. Most excellent. Camilla says, but I have pink shark in my hands. Okay, now it's resting on top of the pink shark. No escape. Maybe I should write a script about how people are noticing that there are just tiny foxes everywhere. You know, suddenly they are everywhere. Docile, sometimes friendly, sometimes incredibly hostile, under various different circumstances. Aww. Tiny foxes that react to kindness with love and kindness themselves, and react to hostility with unbridled hatred. Aww. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Wouldn't it be amazing? I think it would be amazing. Small fox only attacks bigots. Yep, if you're transphobic, it immediately latches onto a finger or a nose or an earlobe and just starts chomping down at you. Corvus says, wait, why are we all saying pronouns? I assume our own, she, they. Oh, I just wanted to get a count of everyone's pronouns so I could refer to each of you with the pronouns you deserve. Winter says, I should probably at some point tell my sister I'm trans somehow. We've got your back if you do. Weed Mum says, she, they, Elder Goddess. Put teeny tiny socks on the small fox? Aww, that's so adorable. Also, welcome, Ray. It's quite alright. No need to apologize for being late. I started incredibly early. Maya says, I told my parents I think I'm trans and they said I was just lonely and to come back after I make friends. Well, you can make friends and come back and say, still trans. Camilla says the only people I'm not are the people who are going to react badly. Ah, I see, I see. How are we doing today? So we're doing the best that we can. I gave everyone a tiny metaphorical fox to hold in their hands and to treat well. So that's just the general gist of what's happened. What is happening? Maya says, I want to feed the metaphorical fox my very real chicken. Ray says, oh nice, like mini Nikos? Nicolings? Nicolings, that actually sounds incredibly nice. But, honestly, I consider them more like foxlings. We have dragonlings, and now we've got foxlings. Or fox kits, or... You know, you get it. Weed Mom says, I had a 50-50 split with my family. Sperm donor side of the family can rot. Mom's side of the family has been really good, if a little awkward. Told my mom about my chosen name, and she latched to it. Aww. I need to write an audio about this. About these tiny fox... You know, tiny foxes that are just invading people's lives in the world, and they just bite bigots and, generally speaking, make the world a better place a little bit at a time. I need to write that story. That sounds like it would be incredibly nice. It's almost 4 years, but my parents are finally making the effort to use the correct name and pronouns. I tend to give people a year to be shitty before improving. And if they're still shitty afterwards, I tend to try to limit contact. Maya says, World War people, where everyone has a small fox watching them. They bite bigots and cuddle kind people. And they try to guide the lost and steal food for homeless people. For those who are unhoused, who have no other place to go, they just wander into stores and then just drag out loaves of bread. And it's very bad luck to try to stop a fox that's trying to do this. Not just because they'll like to snap and bite, but also because, well, you know, it's just not a kind thing to do. If the fox is going to do this, the fox is going to do this. Rey says, many foxes that make a world a better place, so like reverse gnomes. Yeah, reverse gnomes. Like protective guardian spirits. Yeah, kind of. I like that. Weed Mom says, I'll need to sew a little bedroom into the top of my witch hat for a little fox that could go with me every... That actually sounds so nice. I love that idea. Maya says, told my roommates I might be trans, and he immediately asked me what my chosen name was, so I guess he's supportive. Excellent. Fireblade says, I have been listening to your audios ever since 2021-22, and I still love listening to them to this day. I can't wait to hear more audios in the future. Well, you couldn't have listened to the audios in 2021, since I didn't upload any, before 2022. I uploaded my very first one, March 1st, 2022, so you've been here for the full 4 years. So, you've listened to my voice improve the entire time. What do you think? I've come a long way, haven't I? Sage says, both my aunts are trying their best to use my name, but they still forget and use my dead name sometimes. They don't react badly when I correct them so far. Originally, my grandfather did much the same. We had the talk, especially about what it would basically entail, me being trans and the new name, etc. We get through this entire spiel, and he's very accepting and whatnot. We get home, and he dead names me on reflex. I immediately forgave him simply because it was funny. Ray says, well, now you have an idea for when you make plushie merch. Foxlings. You know, like fox kits. But foxlings definitely sounds really, really nice. Mystery Kid says, I've found 50 and I'm starting to drown in the fluff. Weedmom says, it's inspirational. Sometimes my voice is nice, other days I just refuse to speak. I would like a more femme voice, but I also love being able to pull a bumblebee, a wrecker, and just mix and match things. Corvus says, inquiry though, how would you narrate the foxlings as an audio though? Well, honestly, I would basically just... I think I would likely roleplay as either the listener's neighbor or someone working at a convenience store, talking with people, and basically just narrating things as if things were, like, normal. But with the added, like, bonus of having the foxlings in the background all the time doing things. And whenever things happen, she makes mention of it. You know, just like in passing, it's like, oh, this is happening now. And then she gets 2. Then 4. Then 16. Then 64. News report compilation? Oh, news report compilation would actually be a good one too. Sage says another mini fox is joining me now. I have 2 resting on either arm and couch sleeping on the soft throw. Ray says I can just imagine 3 foxlings in a trench coat trying to get the listener pain meds from the convenience store. Aww. Yeah. I wouldn't imagine them in a trench coat, though. I'm imagining these foxlings as incredibly small. Roughly half the size of an actual fox kit. So very much shaped, very much colored like an actual fox kit, but small. And so just watching them drag out a loaf of bread, for example, is just like watching something, you know, trying to move something that is like several times its size. Three foxlings in a G.I. Joe coat? Aww. Mary says, me in the store buying a soda while watching the foxlings gather food. One of them drops something, I help the foxling carry it outside. Aww. Ray says, OMG, a Mario 64 mod, but you play as Nico Fox instead of Mario instead of Peach at Emma or something. Huh, interesting. Corvus says, like watching ants carry stuff? Sort of. Sort of. Mindfire says 27 foxlings in a trench coat, and the next 3 kobolds in a trench is the next 3 kobolds in a trench coat. Feathers says, I'd be afraid of accidentally stepping on the foxlings if they're so small. Well, yeah, but they generally are accepting of apologies, especially if it really was an accident, and they also respond to sweet treats. It's only continued hostility that is not appreciated, and results in extremely bad fortune. Weed Mum says they act like a school of fish. They could take the form and shape of anything if there are enough of them. And then just like hundreds of thousands of fluffy foxlings gather together and form a bipedal entity that basically just turns into your regular stereotypical fox girl. Interesting superpower. Corvus says that Ray, every copy of Mario 64 is personalized after all. I have no idea what that form, or if it's even a thing, but it makes me laugh. Oh, any idea what that's from? Well, honestly, sometimes it is like a very, very small number of them, and sometimes there are tons of them. But they're fairly omnipresent. Fairly omnipresent, mystical little things that just pop out of the woodwork. Actual foxes are clueless and actually a little bit weirded out by this behavior. Wait, Mum. Then we all go in the middle of town and point at you going, "That's Cutiefox. She speaks for the foxlings," while stretching the "ing" for comedic effect. That's Cutiefox. She speaks for the foxlings. I don't speak for the foxlings. I am a fox. Maybe not a foxling. I'm just a fox. I'm a fox girl on the internet, but I'm the foxling queen. What have I created? What have I created? Oh no. I have created a monster. The tri-state area! Have you tried switching to decaf? Fireblade says, is anyone here either a waffle person or a pancake person? I'm a little bit of both, but mostly pancakes. I like pancakes. It's been a while since I've had them, though. Fox puppy. Mystery Kid says, I have a question. Do you have a name for your chat? I don't actually have a name for the chat. What would you think that the chat's name should be called? Ray says, okay, but now I'm imagining Nico's Fox as like a Saturday morning cartoon villain with all the little foxlings as their loyal helpers, like Cinderella and her mice, but mischievous. But why a Saturday morning cartoon villain? Why? Why a cartoon villain? Is it just because I'm up to mischief? Because I sometimes like to steal food and give it to the people who needy? The people who need it? Weedbum says, are we the foxlings? Mindfire says a 510 waffle is better than a 510 pancake, but a 910 pancake is better than a 910 waffle. I don't even know what that means. Foxlings, it's right there. How interesting. Are we the baddies? Ray says, well, mainly for the mischief, but like also inspired by those villainess audios you did or the video game boss audio you did. But if you want to be a hero, I won't stop you. Well, I mean, maybe not like a hero, but definitely not a villain. Villains do villainous things, like make people's lives harder. I want to make people's lives interesting. There's a difference. The only lives I wish to make harder are those of the rich and billionaires. And politicians, on occasion. Weed Mum says, a subpar waffle is better than a subpar pancake, but a gourmet pancake knocks out a gourmet waffle. Never thought about it like that. Winter says, I'm not a villain, I'm simply doing what needs to be done. But the world doesn't need to be saved, it just needs to be fixed. Ray says, I suppose I will have to be a villain making my innate torch by myself, packs my things in a red plaid bag on a stick and walks away. So, no, Ray. I'm sorry. Winter says America's diseased rotten to the core and we need to pull it out by the roots. Senator Armstrong. Camilla says, I say destroy the world. The time has come for a new world. Armageddon must come. I don't want Armageddon. I don't want society to collapse in its entirety. I just don't want more of the same. I encourage civil disobedience. I encourage petty theft. When it's not like harming small businesses. If it's like harming giant conglomerates, then yeah, I encourage it. Simply because, well, frankly, I don't give a shit about extremely large chains. They've got the money to spare and then some, and if they're not going to improve the lots of their employees, why should you give a shit? Why should I give a shit about Walmart or Target or the like? If they're not going to pay me enough to live, then, well... Weed Mum says, oh, have you ever played Sacrifice? One of the villains is like that. Ray says, capturing agents to intro dump about my latest addition to my hashtag had tragic backstory while I accidentally make the day funnier instead of worse. Honestly, very fair. I don't want Armageddon. I don't want violence. All I want is for people to go home at the end of the day with full bellies and in comfort. Honest to goodness, what's wrong with the rest of the world that we don't want that for each other? Where we treat those who don't have enough money as if they are lesser than us, when really, we could have been them. Or we are on the fast track to becoming them. I've been very disillusioned about the capitalist system for a long time. It has been very broken for a long time. Broken, corrupted, not helping anyone except those at the very top of the system, who further perpetrate cruelty. And I've kind of sunk into a little bit of apathy regarding it. Apathy and a little bit of hatred. I can be very spiteful at times. I definitely don't recommend putting oneself in danger. I think that your life means far too much. So, do what you can, with what you feel safe doing. Weed Mum says, the world isn't kind. Not yet. I can't wait for Halloween either, Fireblade. Sage says, speaking of agents, I listened to the Rogue Matrix agent roleplay the other day. I loved it. I'm glad. I really love the Matrix. I love how trans it is. And I kind of hate how pieces of it have been completely ignored by larger audiences who don't see the trans allegory. Ray says, something villains try to make progress versus heroes who yearn for stagnancy, challenging the status quo and the protag's mentality. Protag asks a question and the villain gives an answer. Ray says it'll take a lot of time to undo all the damage capitalism has done, that's for sure. I don't think it's possible to undo all of the damage, period, but we can start. We can start little pieces here and there, and I encourage acts of resistance and of kindness every opportunity you get. Anyways, I think that will do for me for today. Thank you so very much for stopping by. I wish I could stream for longer, but didn't reach the goal, and I'm trying to limit myself to 2 hours for energy consumption. Thank you so very much for stopping by. Please make sure to get some wonderful food in your system. Make sure to drink some water. And stay safe out there. Surviving is winning. Thank you. Good night.